taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh
Oh, son of a bitch.
no! You get your two?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course. And yes, I did manage to actually get a video up while I'm away on vacation. So fantastic. We got the little box of Christmas gifts there, so that's also festive, you know. You'll also notice, before we go too far into it, that things on your screen are going to look a little more squished than what they normally would look like. It's simply because, you know, I normally play on a 50-inch screen TV, but while I'm traveling, obviously I can't take that with me. So I've got a smaller, older monitor that I'm using right now, and that's the only reason why. The resolution, I just can't get the resolution high enough given the date of the actual monitor I'm using, but whatever. So looking at the map here, we are on Solomon Islands, and you'll notice too that I'm grouped up here today with Beerman. So you might recall Beerman from a few of the earlier episodes I'd put up. Great guy, great friend of mine. Used to play with him in Valkyrie Alliance. Yeah, that was the name of that clan. So last night we weren't doing too much. Beerman sent me a message and I said, yeah, why not? Let's run a few games here. So both of us are in our Fusos today. Yeah, I know, I'm not normally in an actual battleship, but I wanted to show this episode because there is some really good damage done in this episode, or sorry, done in this clip here on my behalf. So I just wanted to show it off, just, you know, not always that terrible at battleships. But anyway, you can see that we've decided that we're going to go off to the south here. Beerman and I, obviously talking on TeamSpeak, decide, yeah, we're going to head off to the south, and you can see that there are a few Clevelands over here that are popping up in the little valley there between the two mountains. So I am able to get a few shots off at the ships that are passing through there, but not too much. I mean, those Clevelands, though, they were a bit more of a struggle, actually. You'll see as I get closer here, the Clevelands are obviously the firing arc on a Cleveland, right? So a lot easier for the Cleveland to be able to shoot over and down over the mountains here, whereas in a Fuso, you know, I just can't do that. The firing arc of the Japanese just doesn't allow you to do it. Fuso there in the background, put a few shots into this guy as well, and taking a look at the other ships that are on their way over. And one thing I did notice right away about the Fuso that I'm shooting at right now, you'll see it too, you know, he's stock hull, so obviously he doesn't have the range that I'm going to have, the range that Beerman has as well, and he's not going to have the hit points, the same amount of hit points that we have, so that's you know, decent. Can do something with that. There's a New Mexico that I'm able to put some shots into, but you can see the Cleveland there as well, right, that I was talking about. This New Mexico, though, he surprised the crap out of me. Wait for the shots to hit me. They're on their way. There they go. Yeah, he did fire high explosive at me. Now, why he did that, I have no idea. Luckily, my shot that went into him, my salvo there, did about 12,000 damage to him, so that wasn't too bad at all. If he wants to shoot high explosive at me, well, fine. He can go right ahead. No big deal. A little different, too, on this map, right? Normally, I would go to the north, but in these battleships, I just, you know, Beerman and I were talking, we just didn't want to go to the north because, you know, there are two enemy destroyers on the team, on the enemy team rather, and we didn't want to go around the little headland there in the north and just get torped by those guys. So we figured, no, going to go to the south because not many people do actually end up going to the south. So this is where we're going to go. And, you know, just try and take out any enemy ships that we can. So up pops a Mitsuki. Now, this is a pretty big threat for us, because you'll notice that down here in the south, it's myself, it's Beerman, and we have one other ship down here with us as well. So really, you know, Beerman and myself aren't going to be too effective at this destroyer, but we really do have to pull it off, because we just don't have, like, a cruiser down here to really help us out. The third enemy ship that's down here, not that he's useless, it's just you'll notice that he doesn't actually survive very quickly, or very long. So we couldn't actually count on that guy. So because I did see the Mitsuki, obviously he'd be firing torpedoes off of me. You can see them there. I immediately start turning, right? I'm not going to have anything to do with that. So I just get my guns turned around, heading off towards the north now. Obviously I'm going to circle back and come back to the south, but this was just to regroup with Beerman and the third ship that we have up here as well, or rather down here I should say, just to make sure that, you know, if we do come across that Mitsuki again, at least we're all going to be in a group and better our chances of being able to deal with it. Because again, I mean, I've got all these ships to shoot at here. I'm not willing to load high explosive to deal with that one stupid destroyer when I've got so many other things to shoot at out here. One thing I do want to point out is take a look at the Karl Shrew. Take a look at the name of the Karl Shrew. Well, he just popped out there, but in case you didn't catch it, you will see it later as well. His name is Captain Christopher Pike, yes. My name being Thotgor. I don't know how many of you out there are Star Trek fans, but obviously Captain Christopher Pike has to go down. I wouldn't be able to live with my brain self if he was surviving. So I shoot off some rounds or a nice salvo into him, and I got really lucky with those torpedoes. I was convinced that those torpedoes were going to kill me, actually, and I was very, very worried. So I put some shots into the Karl Shrew, but I didn't hit him too much, and to be frank, I think I'm over-penetrating him as well, so just not doing that much damage. Beerman, in the meantime, is dealing with the enemy destroyer. There we go, Beerman just took out the enemy destroyer, fantastic. So we don't have to deal with that guy anymore, and that's a big relief because we also know that the second enemy destroyer is actually fighting it out with our ships that are pushing down from the north. So I know that now I don't necessarily have to worry too much about an enemy destroyer. Now, New Mexico comes around the little headland there, so I immediately put a nice salvo into him and do about 8,700 damage to him. That's not too bad at all. Just waiting for the reload on the guns, and I wanted to switch back over to the Karl Shrew, because again, Christopher Pike, right? I want to try and get this guy gone. And Beerman's doing the same thing. I mean, he's firing on the Karl Shrew as well to try and get this guy gone, and to be frank, right now, the Karl Shrew is a good target for us, or for me anyway, because you can see he's exposing a broadside to me right now. So I take advantage of this, put a nice full salvo into him. Right, I do hit him a few times, but I'm surprised with how little damage I'm doing. And again, I think I am over penetrating this guy, and that's why. But I'm not, not willing to switch over to high explosive at this time, just simply because there's a New Mexico there, and I just don't want to do that. Unfortunately, Beerman right now is in a terrible situation. You'll notice that he's over there riding the line, so that's not great, first of all, but more importantly, he's getting pounded away by the Karl Shrew, the New Mexico, the Clevelands that are over there, and it just doesn't work out for him. And yeah, there he goes. Unfortunate, but it's okay. He did manage to take out the Karl Shrew, Christopher Pike, before he died. So fantastic, and he gets it's but a flesh wound, so that's not bad at all. Good flags to have, right? So now it's just up to me in terms of the division that we originally started with, and you can see as well that for the most part I have kind of moved away from the south, and I'm more focused now in the middle part of the map here, specifically because I have this Oba right here, and I really wanted to one-shot this guy. This is what I really wanted to do. So I'm kind of lining up on him. We saw the Fuso out there. That would have been an easy kill for me. He was on really low health, but one of my allies finished him off, right? And I didn't want to have to shoot at him and reload because I really wanted this shot here that I'm taking now at the Oba. Nice shot onto him, get a nice citadel out of it, do about half health to him. So he's down half health. That's not too bad. Like I said, though, I really wanted to actually one-shot him. Oh well, no big deal. Moving back around, I'm going to turn because I'm not necessarily going to go into the middle at this time. I want to make sure that the enemy destroyer isn't around because I really don't want to have to go in here and then take a bunch of torpedoes, right? Because there's no room to maneuver in this little middle strait, especially if you're in a battleship. It's just going to be really, really hard for you to get around. In the meantime, while I'm maneuvering into the channel, because I'm satisfied that it should be fairly safe, the shots I'm taking right now are from the Oba. I do start taking shots off at the enemy battleships in the distance. So there was a nice, surprising citadel hit on that Fuso, right? Because I hit him right in the bow. I didn't think I would actually get a citadel, but whatever, I'll take it. And the New Mexico behind him is now putting shots into me as well. And this guy I was a little afraid of, because frankly, the New Mexico, if the player gets a good shot on you, definitely can do a whole bunch of damage. The New Mexicos are deadly battleships, typically though at close ranges. So, getting the last shots into these guys that I can, taking a look around as well. There's another Cleveland, so he's putting shots into me, set me on fire. That kind of sucks. I'm in fire on, two different places, so I need to repair that. We are coming under some air attack here, but yeah, not such a big deal. And then up pops the Oba again. There he is there, so alright, I am going to try and line up on this guy and get some nice shots into him. The enemy Fuso, New Mexico are still over there trying to put shots into me, but now I'm in a position where the mountain is sort of covering me and I don't have to worry about taking any shots from them. And now, you can see as well that I'm pushing into the channel, but the intention here is going to be to take a turn to the port once I get into this channel so that I can get all of my guns to bear on the Oba and the Cleveland. I am taking a bit of shots from them, but I'm not necessarily concerned about the damage that they're doing right now, especially the Cleveland that I have here, because the Cleveland is, he's playing it smart, right? He's shooting over the mountain and I can't shoot at him. But as long as I continue my turn like I'm doing, he's not going to be able to shoot at me anymore. Then I just have to worry about the Oba. Fortunately for me, though, the Oba is now in a position as well where he can't shoot at me either. So, okay, great. Moving into, or rather onto the enemy side now, and then up pops the enemy destroyer. So a little concerned about this. Beerman gave me a warning too about it as well, and I'm lining up on him. But luckily, my teammates were all over that. He's gone. Don't have to worry about it. So all the destroyers are gone, and then basically, well, as I'm sure you know, the destroyers are the bane of any battleship's existence, so now I don't have to worry about it. Now I'm lining up on this Cleveland. Wait till you see the damage I do to this Cleveland. So shots go out, full salvo, just waiting for them to land. They look pretty good, right? There we go. 2 citadels. Took out almost all of his health, so basically almost one shot of the guy. Got a Confederate out of it as well, so that's not too shabby at all. He's almost down. Don't really need to worry about this guy anymore. If I can just get one last shot into him here, we'll finish him off, and then he's gone. Don't even have to worry about him anymore. And then my allies that I have around me can help take out any other enemy ships that are over here. Now, while all of this is happening, you will notice, there, took out the Cleveland, but you will notice that the 2 enemy battleships, the New Mexico and the Fuso, are now putting pressure on our base, right? One of the battleships is in fact in the base right now, and the second battleship is closely behind. But you'll also notice that I do have some allied ships up there, so I had confidence in those guys up there to prevent the cap long enough for me to get in here and start capping the enemy base and put the pressure on the enemy, make them make the first move, right? It's sort of what you want to do here. Another nice citadel on that Oba, right? And the Oba has, I think it was like 18 hit points or something left. Oh, you should have heard Beerman laughing at that one. It was pretty great. So an ally finishes off the Oba. That's fantastic. Not bad at all. And I mean, so far I'm up to 114,000 damage. That's pretty good as well. There is the Cleveland that was shooting at me a while ago from over the mountain, and he's doing it again, up to his same tricks. But again, I'm not too concerned about this guy. Those are the torpedoes that the Oba had launched. No big deal. Able to dodge those without issue at all. I'm focused on this Bogue right now, though, because if you'll notice, the Bogue isn't moving at all. So I'm thinking maybe he's AFK, but he can't be AFK because I saw that his planes come in and shoot me. Then it dawns on me, Thotgor, this is a tier 6, tier 5 game. This player is probably busy micromanaging his ships without micromanaging his planes without actually paying attention to his ships. This is something I see fairly often at lower tiers with carrier captains. Clearly, they're just learning how to play the carrier here, so they're not 100% effective with it. Got a nice citadel on the carrier as well, and that actually gave me my high caliber here for the game, so that's not too bad. Because the aircraft carrier isn't moving at all, the Bogue isn't moving at all, I immediately just start putting all my shots into the stern of his ship. The stern of aircraft carriers is where you're going to find, obviously, the engines, and if you can do engine damage, that's terrific, because then they can't run away. In addition to that as well, the citadel is actually there is a citadel down there. I mean, there's citadels throughout the carrier itself, right? But generally speaking, if I can hit the aircraft carrier in the aft section of the ship, I'll usually get engine damage and do a nice citadel hit to him as well. So last few shots going out to the Bogue, and you'll notice that I am capping the enemy base. We almost have it all capped, but in the meantime, the enemies are capping our base, right? They did take out the allied ships that I had up there. We do still have a carrier up there, but he's in a full retreat right now because frankly there's not a whole lot that the ship itself, the carrier itself can do, other than harass those enemy ships with the planes. So I want to get myself into a position where I can start firing on Cleveland over here because he's grounded himself, nice easy target, but more importantly I want to be able to put shots into our cap so I can start resetting the cap, right? I have enough time to do it right now, and I'm just waiting for the New Mexico to come into range here so I can actually get a nice shot into him, take him out. In the meantime, you'll notice that I do have a friendly Cleveland here with me who is providing a nice screen for me in terms of AA cover and more importantly taking out the enemy Cleveland over here. Because if this Cleveland was allowed to focus on me alone, He may not kill me, but he definitely would do a whole bunch of damage to me, just in terms of the fires that he would set. In fact, there's a nice salvo that he got on me. Just lucky that there were no fires set on that one. There's the New Mexico lining up on him now. Really need to get the reset on this, right? Really need it, because obviously we want to win this. So I do manage to get a salvo off, but no, missed him, didn't get any hits on that, so that sucks. So reloaded, we're going to fire off more guns now and see if I can't get him there. The Cleveland, in the meantime, my friendly Cleveland, is putting shots into the Bogue. The Bogue is almost dead. I'm in a turn anyway, so I'm going to line up on the Bogue, and the shots that I took off the New Mexico did actually end up hitting him, and in fact ended up resetting the base capture point. So that's fantastic. Putting some shots into the Bogue now, and then you can see as well the Cleveland had shots going into him. My shots more or less miss, and the Cleveland finishes them off. So fantastic, no big deal there. Now it's just these two enemy ships, the Fuso and the New Mexico. And we know the Fuso doesn't have or it does have the stock hull, so not the full hull on it. Not as many hit points, just not as durable as, say, myself would be with fully decked out Fuso here. Lining up on the New Mexico. We need to get this guy gone. For whatever reason, though, the enemies just simply gave up. And this is what I was talking about earlier when I said I wanted to get into the enemy cap, put the pressure on them, and make them make the make the moves to come back to defend. This was important because now, given that there's only those two left, they're not actually able to stay in our cap and continue capping the base. They have to come out and they have to face us out here. So that's great. It puts us at the advantage. These guys are now at the disadvantage, regardless, of how many ships we have remaining. So the enemy New Mexico is making its push into the center of the map here, and this is going to be a really bad spot for this guy to be in. He just doesn't know it yet. To be fair, though, this is the fastest route to get to me, to get to the people who are capping. It just so happens that the New Mexico is such a slow ship that he can't actually get into position in time. Just waiting for him to come around a little headland here so I can get some shots into him. In the meantime, I'm also keeping an eye on the Fuso, because the Fuso seems to be chasing down my aircraft carrier, right? Took a look there. Everything seems to be fine, though. I mean, I don't even have any shots on the Fuso, so I can't line up on him yet. We need to do a little turn to starboard here so I can get all 6 cannons onto this New Mexico, and there we go. Fire off a full salvo at the New Mexico just to see how much damage we can do here. Fantastic. That wasn't too bad at all. 9,700 damage in that salvo. I'm also keeping my ship fairly straight on to the New Mexico and angling my Fuso here as well, because look at the hit points I have left, right? If I give a broadside to this New Mexico, he most likely is going to be able to finish me off with a full salvo, and that's not something I want, because obviously I want to survive and win the battle here. In comes New Mexico, putting more shots into him. I only managed to get 2 turrets because, I'm driving straight onto him basically right now. What I'm doing is I'm waiting for him to fire his guns. So he just fired the stern guns at me, right? Waiting for him to fire the guns before I maneuver to try and get my full broadside off at him. So I should have waited a little longer here, but you can see he's going behind this island, so if I would have waited a little longer, I wouldn't have been able to get that shot into him. 3,300 damage, that's not too bad. You'll notice as well that, for the battle so far, I'm up to 151 damage in this Fuso. Not too shabby at all. Can't get any more shots in the New Mexico. He went behind the island, but the Fuso over there is still chasing down my aircraft carrier. So he has popped around the headland, so immediately start putting shots into him. Do a bit of damage to him, right? Not too bad at all. Took out a turret, or rather just immobilized a turret, I should say, for now. And blam, victory. Fantastic. That wasn't too bad of a battle at all. Taking a look at the results here, right? 5,300 experience, high caliber Confederate. I only did manage 1 kill, but what I was most happy with was 74 hits in a battleship. That rarely happens for me. Obviously, I'm top of the team overall. More than double the experience of the highest earning enemy team, or enemy player. Right, and then looking at damage done, 160,000 damage, or thereabouts, 163 maybe. That is not too bad, and well over 300,000 credits to walk away with as well. That was pretty fantastic. I was pretty pleased with it, because frankly right now I got my tier 6 Russian destroyer I think the next thing I'm going to do is maybe get the old New Orleans, actually, yeah. Now I've got everything else I wanted. Anyway, I just wanted to get a video up today, just to make sure you guys didn't think I forgot about you. And hopefully you did enjoy it as well. There was some pretty good teamwork there. Most importantly, though, damage done was fantastic. So, hope you guys did enjoy the video. Leave any comments you have for me. Love reading those comments and responding back to them. Hit the old like button if you liked the video today as well. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber. And as always, folks, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.